Good night to you, my brothers and sisters in Sangre Grande. I see you all have cut my time already, man, from 15 minutes to 12 minutes. Madam Political Leader, Parliamentary Representatives and Senators, National Executive Members, Mr. Chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, former councillors, former aldermen, distinguished guests, brothers and sisters of the UNC family, listeners and viewers both here and abroad, good night, good night, good night. And welcome to this Monday night report here in Sangre Grande. Election day is August 14th. By my calculation, we have 62 more days of campaigning. I have my calendar on my wall, and every day I take off one of the days. Do the same, and at the end of the day, ask yourself, what have I done today to ensure that the UNC is victorious in my electoral district? We must send a strong signal to the PNM that enough is enough. And please, please, just go, go, go. Wanting to trick you into allowing them to postpone the election for a year, the PNM was forced to call these elections by the fierce advocacy of Senior Counsel Anand Ramlogan and the commitment activist Ravi Maharaj. Give them a round of applause. It is because of them, only them, and the cooperation and support of our political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, that we can go out and vote on August the 14th. Now I want to talk a little bit about the right to vote. I am begging for extra time. I want to talk a little bit about the right to vote. You know, in South Africa, there was a fellow by the name of Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in jail so that colored people in South Africa would have the right to vote. 27 years in jail, suffering under those who supported apartheid in South Africa. Rowley and his ruthless gang, no different. They want you not to vote. Why they don't want you to vote? When a man in South Africa spent 27 years in jail just to have the right to vote. But having been embarrassed at the Privy Council, that didn't stop the Rowley and his gang. From their bag of tricks, they have now pulled out local government reform to trick you into believing that they're going to do something about the regional corporations in this country. Can you believe that? You believe and trust the Rowley government when they say about local government reform of all the regional corporations? How could you believe them? That's the same man who tell you Petrotrina closing down. The same man who told you all they're going to convert OWTU into a business unit. The same man who told you, the PNM party who told you education is their greatest gift to the country. Today they are telling you that that very education system is producing a wasteland for the youths of this country. And young people are just wasting their lives in that education system. So do you trust them, ladies and gentlemen? The taxi drivers between Sangre Grande and Mayaro. I see my brother David Law here tonight. The taxi drivers from Sangre Grande to Mayaro. You think they trust Minister Rohan Sinanan when he says he's going to repair the road? The taxi breaking up in front of them, the passengers have to use gravel to travel to and from home. I just want to spend a little time on how we got to local government reform. The general election 2015, the PNM said that they were going to have local government reform. They went to the people fell for it, they voted for them, they won the election. 2016 local government elections, they went on the platform again, local government reform. They won the local government elections. 3 years later, May 2019, they introduced the bill for local government reform in the parliament. This bill was referred to a joint select committee, and our party made extensive suggestions, which are now in a minority report there. In December 2019, they came back, local government reform. Well, we washed them good and proper here in Sandy Grande. licks, Bodo, licks like rain. And we're going to beat them again this year, August 14th. We're going to beat them again, Toco in Sandy Grande Regional Corporation. July 2020, Parliament dissolves, but the work of the JSC continues. The JSC finished their work, and the bill was passed in the Parliament in July 2022. Now, understand me very well, and I want you all to follow me tonight. July 2022, they passed the bill for local government reform, Trinidad and Tobago. We now in June 2023, and the only section that they have proclaimed for action in that bill was the section to postpone elections for 1 year. If you were so interested in local government election, local government reform, what did you do from July 2022 to today? July, check with me. August, check with me. September, I ain't hearing all you. October, November, December, January 2023, February, March, April, May, June. 11 months, my God. And all you raise a stroke. And you're coming in this election to tell people that you want local government reform. And you had 11 months with the bill before you. And you're lazy and you're idling up and down the golf course, you're sleeping and you're saying nothing. And you're coming in this election to talk about local government reform. So brothers and sisters, I want to spend a little time tonight because I was most upset when I read in the newspaper what Dr. Rowley said last Saturday when he went to open some building in Diego Martin. Hear what he said. He said the government worked and created a structure into which it could put that responsibility, authority, and control to facilitate local government reform. You hear lie? The reform, he said, brings greater responsibility at the district level so that they can control the fiscal, administrative, and management arrangements. He called it a devolution of authority. You hear big words? Rubbish, stupidness, foolishness. And I will explain to you why. Now, I'm preparing to come to you to talk tonight. I said I would speak on local government reform. So I went and I Googled local government reform, and I came across the 10 pillars. They call it the 10 pillars of the government for local government reform. The first pillar, they said, was security and funding. They talk about security. In May 2019, the government said that they were going to allow the regional corporations to hire 100 municipal officers. I am told that in Sandy Grande, you all only got funding for about 2 or 3 or 4. But they're talking about security, one of the pillars of local government reform. Then they speak about funding. And, when they talk about funding, they want to slip in property tax. All you remember what Rowley had to say? He vociferously opposed corporation tax. Property tax, I beg your pardon. When he was a PNM Minister of Government in 2009. Now let us look at property tax. In property tax, there are 4 categories. residential, commercial, industrial, and agricultural. The local government reform legislation only allows the regional corporation to collect the property taxes from residential properties. And when you collect it, it doesn't go into your coffers as extra funds, you know. I hope those who are aspiring to be councillors understand what I'm saying. It doesn't go to your coffers as extra dollars, you know. It is taken away from your usual allocation that you get from the parliament. So if you are accustomed getting $220 million and you collect $2 million in property tax, the Ministry of Finance will only send you $18 million. Where's the extra funding? Where's the extra funding? So I don't know what nonsense the PNM is coming to tell you in this campaign, you know, about extra funding from property tax. You will get no extra funding from property tax. It is offset against what you get as releases from the Ministry of Finance. I see my time is, or you're cutting my time. The second pillar is executive authority. They talk about executive authority. Now let me tell you something. The only person who would have executive authority under this new system is the Minister of Finance. So they move your boss from the Minister of Rural Government to the Minister of Finance. He will approve your budget. He's saying how much money you're getting for your salary. Any loans, grants, technical assistance from any international donor has to be approved by him. He's even going to tell you who are the officers to sign checks at the corporation. The Minister of Finance. And then they speak about new responsibilities. What are these new responsibilities? Nobody knows. They're going to give you an executive council and a municipal council with new duties. But who is going to fund it? Who is going to pay for it? Nobody knows. But Rowley talking nonsense in Diego Martin. Local contractors, that song nice, eh? Local contractor. But they're not telling you about the procurement legislation, which says that the contractor must first register at the corporation. So it's not about local contractors again. All contractors are national contractors eligible to bid for contracts in any part of Trinidad and Tobago. Then they spoke about more effective municipal policing. They spoke also about development control. I don't know what that is. Infrastructural works. More box drain, more pavements and so on. But where this funding is going to come from? Don't depend on property tax. Property tax is going to be offset from what you get from the Ministry of Finance. And disaster management. I want to pay tribute tonight to Bodo. Where is he? Gone? This man is an expert on disaster management now, having spent 3 years at the corporation. He deals with the methods to contain the floods in flood-prone areas, the items you need to assist constituents in flood waters, and post-flood assistance. Former Councillor Nasser Hussain. Boy, when I see the rain coming and the rain set up over Sandy Grande, I was frightened for this man. They have a river there in Pictou on the road. When you hear it cross the road, trouble for him and his constituents. But he has survived, and I wish him well. Then the involvement of civil society. Now, you know they're going to have an administrative shake-up. They're going to give you an executive council. They're going to give you a municipal council. Who are going to staff that? What they're going to do with the present workers? They're talking about involvement with civil society. Did they invite the unions? The Statutory Authority Service Commission? Did they invite them for any talks? Did they invite the Public Service Association for further talks? Did they invite them? But they put in these pillars, these 10 pillars, involvement of civil society. Man, listen, when I read this thing yesterday, I said, well, you know, what depths, how low will the PNM stoop to win an election. You mean to say you all publish this, put it on Facebook, put it on your website, and all the thing is nonsense and tomfoolery? What's the popular word these days now? Poppycock. And they come into campaign on that and tell you vote for them. When you vote for them, you're getting local government reform. They had the bill for 11 months. 11 months they had the bill. If you wanted local government reform, what did you do? Tell the nation what you did over the last 11 months, besides trying to postpone the elections. So brothers and sisters, they speak also about regional government plans. But these are plans which the regional corporations already have responsibility for since 2014 by the Planning and Facilitation of Development Act. Mamagay, tomfoolery, baloney, nonsense. The Spanish will say tonteria. Brothers and sisters, so when the PNM comes around in their campaign, chase them away. Tell them don't come to you with that foolishness. Local government reform is already the law. What they must explain to you is why since July 2022, 12 months ago, they have failed to proclaim the law and put it into operation. Tell them that it's only a UNC government that can put into a working effect that law. They have failed us, they have failed the nation, they have failed you. And now they must get out of the way and make way for a UNC government to do what is best for local government in Trinidad and Tobago. So my brothers and sisters, thank you for the extra minutes, Mr. Timekeeper. Long live the UNC, long live Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and onwards to victory on August the 14th. Thank you very much.